What we have here is a failure to communicate. This is the Urban Sentinel, and let's get into it. In times of crisis, information is king. The ability to receive, disseminate, exchange, and transmit information will be vital in emergencies, but even more so when the traditional lines of communication have failed. Landlines, internet, cable, cell towers. Having a portable or mobile radio system, a handheld radio like this, makes that difference when those crises occur. Now in this video, I'm going to briefly do an overview on why having a portable ham system is something that is a benefit, a force multiplier for you. Presently, I have several radios. Most of them are base radios. They basically stay in that one spot. They need repair, some tuning, things like that. But I also have a set of 4 FRS radios, family radio systems. They basically, you hear them, family band radios. You can purchase them at Walmart, Target, order them online. They don't require any FCC registration or licensing to operate. For the primary reason is they have a limited number of frequencies and they have very low power. The average range best that you usually get, I mean, if you're one person on top of a high mountain and the other person on the lower end of the valley with no obstructions, you might get 2 to 3 miles, but on average, a solid mile up to 2 miles, most urban environments and even in most rugged terrain, because again, trees, hills, highway overpasses, buildings all interfere with the signal. Now, with that being said, you've also moved up to the next level, which is GMRS, General Mobile Radio System. That does require an FCC license, but it's rudimentally simple. You fill out the form, you pay the fee. Moving from GMRS into what is considered the ultimate of it is amateur radio, ham radio. And with that, you have to take a test, and the test is based upon the class that you're looking to achieve. Think about it as lower, middle, and upper. Once you've gotten that upper end, you still need licensing from the FCC, but the world is yours when it comes to radio transmission. You're operating on multiple levels of frequencies, including satellite, TV, that sort of thing. Now, not getting into the weeds of it, it is, by definition, by rules and regulation, illegal to transmit on certain frequencies that the FCC has designated. With that being said, they're not driving around with strike teams waiting to pounce on people. The way most people get caught by the FCC is either they're transmitting on a restricted frequency, meaning something that is designated for law enforcement, medical, the Amtrak train service. They're transmitting or broadcasting something consistent, such as a radio program, whether it be their own or they're just simply retransmitting something, playing music, even a single tone note going across the airwaves. If you haven't gotten permission to do it, that's a violation. Or they're interfering in some form or fashion with reception of other devices. Perhaps their transmitter is too powerful and it's stepping on other frequencies that aren't directly in the same system, but it's a stronger network, so it stomps on it and cuts out a lot of stuff. That's when people get caught. That's when people get arrested, because they look to trace and triangulate, and they eventually do find it, especially when it is someone who's transmitting regularly, that they come in, they confiscate the device or any other devices they find. They can arrest, they can fine you, and you could possibly face jail time. But with that being said, and keep my name out your mouth if you end up in court, coming back to the SHTF scenarios that unfold, you're not going to be held to any extent culpable in a no harm, no foul situation. Whereas, an example, if you had a radio like this and you were living in an area where the wildfires are currently going on, and you're at the outer edge of a particular town, and you happen to notice that, hey, the power has gone out, and that glow is getting brighter, and you go up to your backyard, up over a little hill, and you can see a mile away a full ridge line of flame moving towards the town. Notifying your fire department, your police department, or whoever on their frequency, giving a mayday, you know, the long wall of fire is moving this direction. They're going to take that and say, okay, there's an issue, there's an emergency, there's trouble. That's not going to be held against you, even if they say, who are you, where are you transmitting from? So this way they have an idea. They're not going to come around, cuff you, put you in the back of a cruiser, and then go off and handle it. It's just simply you're using it for that purpose. Now, as far as people that are on here watching this channel because you're preparing for the eventualities that seem to be getting closer and closer, there may be a point where government agencies are not really going to be concerned with anything if they're functional at all. Having the ham radio gives you the ability to communicate farther than simply 1 or 2 miles. Properly tuned and you know the frequencies, you can reach out and communicate with other people 10s, 20, 30 miles in some areas. And again, depending upon the strength of your system, you can hit 1,000 miles or more. A lot of that does involve understanding radio waveform and propagation and how to utilize, effectively speaking, the Earth's atmosphere to your benefit, but it can be done. Now, as far as getting your amateur radio operator's license, why not? It's a skill. It's something that once you've learned it and you've acquired it, you practice it, it becomes easier, you learn a little bit more, and that helps you. It becomes a benefit to you amongst all the other things that you're building up, because that's the key thing. Having the skills and the knowledge and being able to utilize them will always be a positive for you. There's no negative to that at all. And with that being said, it's simply a matter of having the equipment now, getting comfortable with it, getting used to it, understanding what to do, looking at all the buttons, learning what is what. So when an emergency does happen, you're not fumbling around, you're not flipping through a user manual, you're not trying to remember, do you press this and then scroll to this, or do you input this number and do that? You'll be able to utilize it effectively. And again, if people are transmitting, whether they are on their dedicated frequency or they're transmitting in an emergency situation, or they're just, shooting the breeze, talking to talk, if you're monitoring and you're listening, you develop an understanding of who's around you, what's going on around you, far more than what you might waiting for a news report, a newspaper, or someone to post up a video 2 days later on YouTube to tell you about it. You're getting effectively the tea right from the pot then and there without having to really do too much other than make sure your battery is charged up and you've got a good clear line of sight around you so you don't have too much interference. So please leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, and check out this other video that I will do a brief review on this particular radio, and I'll catch you in the next one.